Hello and welcome to the future of real estate. You've probably heard that term before because we used to have the radio show and the TV show, which was Welcome to the Future of Real Estate. But now we're rebranding this. We're doing this in a podcast format.
Right.
Not too dissimilar to the way we used to do the radio show before. If you go on our YouTube channel, you'll see some of those old Future of Real Estate shows that we used to do. So I thought it would be important, before we talk about the future of real estate, that we go back and talk a little bit about what we're doing presently and even go back into the past. So I thought I wanted the first episode to have Sandy and I together. In the future, I may host some shows, she may host some shows, we'll do some together. She may have some guests on, I may have some guests on, but I thought the first one with this rebranding would be good to do this together. And let's just talk about real estate in general, and let's talk about how we got started, why we do this, or how we interact with customers and that sort of thing. So let me just ask you a couple questions.
Okay.
You started the team even before I came on, way back when. Why did you get into real estate?
Oh, I think because I really enjoyed people. I enjoyed different situations. As a kid, I enjoyed putting puzzles together, and real estate kind of reminds me of one great big puzzle sometimes. So we're putting people and places and things, all together. It's fun. Remember the person, I don't even know who it was, way back, who said, if you enjoy what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And that's kind of what real estate has been for us, I think.
Oh, we've had a couple of days we've worked. We had a year or two where we worked. But you're right, for the most part, it doesn't feel like work. It feels like we're helping people.
Yeah.
And doing what we do, so that's a good thing. So I started in 1988. You started it even before me. Real estate's changed a little bit over the years, but some things haven't changed.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's changed. It's changed a lot, but it's still the same.
Tell it what has stayed the same. What has not changed and probably never will change.
Well, the people, the properties, and the people and their fears, because sometimes there's just something that gets in your way. Like it could be, maybe something about your finances. It could be something about, you might have a job transfer coming and you just don't know how to guess what's going to happen in your future. Sometimes it's people that want to move here, for retirement or fun or whatever, or have a vacation place in the sun. And then sometimes they get here and something happens with the kids up north and their plans change. So it's kind of just all about people and all about change.
You know what's amazing to me is, of course, we've been doing this a long time, and with all this technology, all this stuff that's come out, the longer we do it, the more we expect consumers to know, like, this is the thing to do, this is the thing to not to do. But I've taken several listings, even in the last year, and then the seller comes out and says, okay, now I want you to do this. I said, no, don't want to do that. And I want you to do this. And they think they're doing right, but they're making some of the biggest mistakes. That's why they hire us. And then, but we have to really spend time educating them, like, this is why we don't do this. This will not work in your favor. This will actually work against you. But I'm amazed at how many people don't know what we know, and they would make some of the biggest mistakes marketing their home. And to us, you think it would be apparent, but it's not. And that's not changed. If I try to remember way back when, people didn't know it then either.
Well, and they shouldn't, because we do it every single day, right, Brett? And we've seen the ups, the downs, we've seen the things. We've made a couple mistakes, also. And I guess that's the kinds of things that you learn from. But you're right, the average consumer sees people out there and they see something that looks glitzy or fun, and they think that will bring more people to the property, when in fact we really need to be going a different direction.
But just things like showing the property or being present, or how to highlight, they want to highlight certain things. It's like, no, that's not what we want to highlight. This is what's going to sell your home. This is not what's going to sell your home. And they're highlighting the things that are important to them, but not necessarily to them. They don't think like a buyer.
Well, and that's true. We have people who are so good because they know their home better than anybody else in the whole world. And they know that, okay? But they're still not the right person to be in that house at that time. Because for one thing, you want the house to be as big and open, spacious, even if I'm there, I'm kind of in the way, you know? So, especially if there's another agent, if they're...
Well, I'll tell you a funny story.
Okay.
I got this realtor. He's talked to me twice now. The funny thing is, we've had many realtors hire us to sell their homes when they couldn't. But this guy is a realtor, and he's putting his home back on the market for the second or third time. But he wants me to be present for all showings and be waiting outside, tell him about this, tell him about that. And I've tried to tell him that's not necessarily what you want. And he's a realtor and should know better.
Well,
so
that's why his home didn't sell.
Yeah, and I can't blame consumers. First of all, we don't blame consumers for any of this.
Yeah.
That's why you hire us, to get out of your own way, let the professional do what they do. Like, I hire professionals for certain things because, like plumbing, electrical, like I would be in my own way. But that's why you need that level of expertise. Let's talk about some fun things that have happened. So I'm going to tell you a story. I'm sure this is going to come to your mind right away. Do you remember, I won't even say the year because I wouldn't even know the year, but we went to a house, it was in North Fort Myers, and we were out on tour. This is back when they used to have tours. And by the way, we don't market properties the way we used to, because we used to have caravans that go out on tour and see properties. Technology's changed all that, but we went out on tour, and they said, don't worry about the dog in the garage. Now, we got there, and the garage door was about this high off the ground, so we thought, well, there's no dog in the garage now, it'll just run right out. So anyway, we go through the whole house. You and I were walking right next to each other, and we opened that garage door.
I do remember this.
Because we said we got to see what's behind that door.
Yeah, yeah.
And what happened?
The dog must have been as big as I was, okay? And that's why it couldn't go in.
Now, what sound did I hear? You were first.
Oh, yeah. Well, I let out a sound, I'm sure.
I'm going to repeat the sound.
No, wait a minute.
Yeah, I'm going to do
The
it.
dog, though, touches me right here. The dog knows.
It did the same thing to me.
Yeah.
But, okay. So, anyway, I hear the sound. I'm behind her, and there's a step down into the garage, like a walk down, and I hear a, ooh! And I'm like, what the heck is that?
It was me.
Something's in there. No, I knew it was you, but I'm like, what's in the garage? So you turned around, and you said, I don't know if you said got me or something. So anyway, I go out like a dummy, look into the garage, and I feel this right here, and I'm like, what was that? And this head was about this big, and it was a gentle giant.
Oh, most lovable dog in the world.
Yeah.
But you kind of howled too. And I'm thinking, this poor lovable dog had a frightful day, and all it did was just be there in the garage.
But it was in that moment that it hit me. I realized why it wasn't escaping out the garage, because the garage door was open this high and he couldn't get out. The head was that big.
It was a big dog.
But it's just fun things like that we've done over the years. And one of the things we like to do is we have fun on the team.
Yeah, that's true.
But we like to have fun with our customers. And I'm trying to think just off the bat of a lot of our customers have been fun. We've had a couple pains in the tushes too, but for the most part, almost all of our customers, they're a lot of fun to work with.
Well, and you know, Brett, every year we have a picnic. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember. And some of these people come to the picnic, everybody who can make it, and we have some fun events. It's just really great to get back and see them again and with their families. And
Well, we've always said we're your family realtor serving your family.
right.
And because we are a family, so we like to treat our customers like families. This podcast, by the way, isn't going to be all about the Ellis team.
Oh, no.
Like we debated, I don't even know that we're going to put our jingle in the podcast or whatever, because it's not about the team. It's going to be about the future of real estate. But we will meld in our experiences that we've had and whatnot, because we bring a lot to the table in that respect. What do you see changing the most in real estate right now? You throw out a couple topics and I'll expound upon them, or I'll throw out a couple.
Well, the thing I see changing everything right now, not just real estate, is AI.
Okay, talk to me more about that. So, is AI something to be afraid of, or like, what if you were an agent and you said, "Well, I don't know this AI stuff, so I'm just not going to do it." Let me take you back. You remember the 90s, the internet age, when agents were afraid, and actually MLSs were afraid. We were one of the first teams to put our MLS online. In fact, that's an interesting story. We'll do in another podcast, but we were the first to put the MLS online. And National Association of Realtors came in and said, you can't do that. We had a meeting with them up in Chicago, and they found out, well, yeah, we can. That's how Realtor.com and all that came to be, is because of what we did. But I remember the argument was, people said, well, we can't give out the MLS book. We can't give out the MLS. People won't need us. And what we found was, no, they need you even more. It's information overload. AI, I'm hearing some agents say, I don't want to do that. I'm not doing AI. It's going to replace us. It's going to do this. It's going to do that. Do you have the fear that AI is going to replace real estate agents?
No, not at all.
How can it help real estate agents?
Well, there's so many incredible things that we can do with AI also. I know you're working on something even on subdivisions, I think, Brett.
Well, the thing about AI is there's 1,000 different rabbit holes you could go down. I don't call them rabbit holes because some of them are very efficient. So like one of our assistants can do the work of now 4 assistants, because you can ask AI a question, you can refine it, and it can help us create things, policies, checklists, marketing materials, that sort of thing. But yeah, the cool project I'm working on right now is I've downloaded the entire MLS and I put it into AI, and now I can ask AI questions like what agents are doing this, or who specializes in a certain subdivision or whatever. But the cool thing that I'm doing right now is I use this advanced analysis I learned back in college, and I ask AI to do it. And by the way, we used to do these long equations. It would take us hours to do each equation, because you got multivariables and you're trying to decide how does this variable correlate with that variable amongst a huge data set. So I did that for the MLS and with these HOA fees. And what I wanted to know was, like, how much, if one community has a community pool, let's say, how much should that add to the HOA cost? And another community, they provide the lawn and landscaping, and another one, you do it yourself. So there's a value if they do it, if they could get a bulk contract. Maybe they can do it better than you can on your own because they're doing it in bulk. But you add up all these things like cable and internet, community pools, lawn landscaping, insurance, just clubhouse or no clubhouse, golf, no golf. How are you supposed to calculate all that? It's just too much. And so I put it into the thing, and that's what our article is going to be about this weekend in the news press. I'll put it on our blog too if you go to blog.topagent.com. And it basically separated each variable, what each one should cost. Now, it's not fair to some subdivisions, because let's say I have one community pool with 200 people in the subdivision, and another subdivision has one community pool with 500 in it. The cost of that pool is going to be divided by 500 versus the cost versus 200. So you're never going to get quite apples and apples.
No, and some of them are going to have weight rooms and workout centers and pickleball courts, and the other one might not. And so it is going to be a tough equation.
But this solves for the ones that have pickleball. How much does that add? How much does this? So we're through AI and knowing how to get the data. Most agents don't know how to get the data from MLS, or how to work with AI the right way and use this advanced thing that I learned back in college. But if you do all of that, you can now get some very powerful information.
Well, I think you can, but I think that we also have to be careful of AI for right now, because we don't know what all is input. Over time, it's going to get better and better and better and stronger. But also it depends on the question that we ask it and how we ask it. And sometimes you go back and you rephrase it. So again, the people are going to be using it themselves too. They probably are going to still need us to help them to decipher what kind of information you want to look for.
Okay, so on a future podcast, I'm going to talk about the 20-60-20 rule. And it's in regards to something you just mentioned about how you ask it, and all of that. So remember, stay tuned. We'll be talking about the 20-60-20 rule. But before we wrap up on this podcast, what would you say to people? I mean, Cindy, nobody in Lee County has sold as many properties as we have. We've sold over 5,000 homes. That's a lot of homes in Lee County.
More than that, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was several years ago. So. To be honest with you, I don't know how many we've sold, but so you're a great resource in terms of Lee County, Southwest Florida. Southwest Florida is changing too, by the way.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
yes.
I drive down 41 and there's a new building up, and I'm like, where did that building come from?
Yeah.
and it wasn't there. They could manufacture these things so fast with pre-construction, prefab, and whatnot. So you can put the concrete walls up. What is amazing to you right now in Lee County? And I know you do commercial. You're a CCIM. Is anything stand out to what's going on that just really impresses you, surprises you?
I just think the growth. I think, like you say, Brett, the number of apartments that seem to have popped up because maybe I didn't drive down that street for a few months or whatever. But many of you are seeing those too because they're next to the communities that you live in. And many people have questions. How are all of these things impacting us? You know?
Here's another point. I bring this up on listing appointments all the time. I'll get a call and someone will say, hey, my home's at this is such and such address. What do you think it's worth? And now here's the funny thing. We may have sold 32 homes in that neighborhood, maybe more than any other agents ever sold in that neighborhood. But I can't tell you the price of that property because one, I need to see it. I need to see the condition. What have they done? Because sometimes what they've done and what the county thinks they've done are two different things. How it shows, how it appears. But then it doesn't matter if I sold something 5 years ago in that subdivision. It only matters what sold 5 minutes ago. Even 5 months is almost too long. I like if we could find it last 3-4 months because the market's been shifting. The market's been moving.
Well, and it not only matters that, but what's on the market, what's pending, what's coming to the market, you know?
And what if the solds are up here and there's a bunch of actives here? They've essentially moved the market because they're not going to sell for up here. So we need to know that. We need to study their home in relationship to the sales and the actives, what their competition is. So I hope people can appreciate it's impossible for us to say.
You know, I had an attorney that called me the other day, and one of the things he said to me is, he said, I really want you to take a look at this property. I want you to take a look at the price. Because he said, at the end of the day, he said, I can pull the stats too. But he said, I know that you have that feeling for all the experience your team has done, how many sales you've had. He said, you've got that, you're just going to know when you see it. So I'm going out to take a look at that property. I pulled up some comps on it.
Well, here's another thing. Consumers have access to all these reports, Zillow, Redfin, maybe Realtor.com, I don't know, but all these places say, hey, your home is worth X amount of dollars. And then what we find is, that might be true, that might be ballpark, but it may be so far off it's not even funny. And what's weird is, Redfin might say 400,000 and Zillow might say 300,000. Okay, now which one of them's right?
And Zillow has another number, you know?
That's what I meant. They might be at 300.
Oh, yeah.
And Redfin at 400.
Okay.
So which one's right?
Okay, yeah.
So the answer might be in the middle. It might not be in the middle. And that's where we have to really get in. Because you don't want to, if you're a seller, you don't want to leave money on the table. Just because Zillow says it's worth $306,792, what if it's worth $326,792?
Yeah.
That's 20 grand in your pocket.
Exactly.
And vice versa. You don't want to overprice it and then watch, as prices are going down, the longer you're overpriced, the longer you're out of the market.
We actually call that riding the market down.
You don't want to do that.
You don't want to do that. Yeah.
But buyers, they look up, let's say they look up Zillow or Redfin or Realtor.com or First American or Remind, all these sources. And they say, it's worth $327,792. I'm not paying $1 more. That's risky for them too because they might overpay at $327,000 or they might be missing out on a good deal. It's a steal at $327,000. It's really worth $350,000, $360,000. They should jump on it. So these online valuations, I don't know. How do you address those in listing appointments? Do you?
Well, we actually even have our own online evaluation, like Lee County Online, I believe, right?
Yeah, and it will value your property instantly on the spot. People love it. Do we rely on that?
Not totally.
No,
because it just like you're saying, Brett, we go back and look at those numbers. So when people call in and say, I have a number, I want to sell my house at that, so we still want to see that house.
Here's what I like about Lee County Online. It will give you a price today. And I can't tell you if that price is exactly the price. But what I like to look at is every month they will email you and say, here's your new price. And I'd like to focus not so much on the actual number it gives you, but on the direction. Does it think my price is going up in value or down in value?
And then why? Yeah.
Yeah, and then that gives me a guide. So I'm not worried about the number it gives me. I'm more worried about the direction. Now, the last couple of years, most properties have been going probably down in value, right?
They have.
I have seen a couple, though, that suggest maybe they've held their own or even risen a little bit. And there could be some reasons for that.
Right. It depends on the location. to some degree. The timing.
There are some pockets of homes, we won't go in detail what they are right now, but where they've actually seemed like they've risen in value because there's just not that many of them, and they serve a certain niche that's not being met. So anyway, boy, we've covered a lot of ground today. It's probably time for us to go out and have some fun with our team and with our clients and whatnot. So hopefully the audience gets a sense of who we are, what we bring to the table. We're here to have fun, but we're here to talk about issues in real estate. We're going to bring in industry insiders. We may bring in, just like we did on the radio show, we may bring in the governor, the mayor, the city councilman,
Tax assessor.
Tax assessor. Boy, he was a wealth of information.
Wasn't he?
He founded the Save Our Homes Amendment. We brought in attorneys. Just anything we think that would be a topic of interest. We look forward to bringing it to you. So thank you for tuning in. You've been watching The Future of Real Estate. Right now I'm going to say presented by the Ellis team at Keller Williams, but that's not going to be the focus going forward. It's more just about the future of real estate.
Absolutely. And you.
All right. Thanks for tuning in.
The Ellis team at Keller Williams is a family affair.